My name is Kevin Blair, and do I have a show for you today? If you've ever thought about getting in this industry, if you've ever changed careers, and I'm not going to say this guy's old, but he ain't a youngin' either. So if you've ever thought about changing the careers, you need to listen to this story. Mike Morgan, how the heck are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing today, Kevin?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be you. Are you kidding me? I mean,
Well,
yeah, yeah, what
you,
my yeah, when you get my age, I wake up and I put my feet on the ground, I'm having a good day. You know,
I,
I just believe, I truly believe, sir, that we have a choice. We have a choice. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Zig Ziglar. I've been a Zig Ziglar fan all my life. And he talks, and I don't know where this comes from, but um, probably because I've wore out cassette tapes and CDs and listening to him forever. But he says, you know what? He tells a story about a guy in an airport that is in front of him in line and they delayed his flight. And the guy just throws a fit and just throws a fit. And guess what? The flight is still delayed. Okay. And he says, if that flight, if something's wrong with that airplane, I'd rather be down here and let them fix it than be up there and then worried about what's wrong. So to me, it's attitude, and we have choices to make.
right.
I Dude, I could talk all day on attitude. That's just what I'm all about. Well, hey, we met, I don't know, it's probably been 6, 8, maybe even closer to a year ago.
Mhm.
And I remember hearing your story. And you've had a couple of changes. You've had a major change in what you're doing, and we want to hear about that. You got how long have you been a realtor now?
June, 3 years and a month. June 1st was 3 years.
Okay. All right. So I remember the story. I want you to tell the story about how you got into it and why you got into it. To me, Mike, the why is more important than anything else. So tell us about that.
Well, most of my life, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really
Sure.
appreciate it. Um, Most of my life, I've been a blue collar worker. Well, all my life, I've been a blue collar worker. I've done several different things, for the most part, construction. I was a heavy equipment operator.
Okay.
Uh, when I was 42, uh, my wife and we got pregnant with my first biological child, and which happiest time of my life. I can't say how happy that made me.
Sure.
Um, well, it got to the point to where with construction, as the years went on and my son got older, I was getting up going to work before he was going to daycare. I was getting home 15 minutes before his bedtime, working 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And it was really getting rough on me because, I didn't sit around. I was 43 when he was born. I didn't wait 43 years to have my first child to never see him,
That's right.
so that was kind of getting to me. And I was kind of thinking, I'm getting on up there in age a little bit, but, maybe I want to find something different. But this is just getting rough on me. I don't get to see my child. He doesn't get to see me.
That's right.
And I want to make an impact on his life. I just want to be around him. Well, fast forward a little bit, and the pandemic hit. And at the time, I was not a foreman or anything like that. I was just an operator in the seat. My job was weather based, work based, all of that. If it rained, there wasn't a lot of work to do. The winter months, there wasn't a lot of work to do. My wife, she's in the management, had the more stable income, if you will.
Mhm.
So when the pandemic hit and it was time for people to have to take care of other people because things were shutting down, we decided she had the more reliable income than I did, so it would be better for me to stay at home and her to keep on working. I mean, the last thing you want to do is for her to stop working and then, you know, here comes a tropical storm and I'm out of work for 3 weeks and there's no money
Right.
coming in whatsoever.
Right.
So that's the reason we made that decision. I'm taking my time off, taking care of my son, thinking to myself, I don't want to go back to doing what I was doing. I mean, I was starting to enjoy the time with him so much, waking up with him, going to sleep, being here when he goes to sleep, all that. So I just kind of started thinking, and real estate is something that had been in the back of my mind for several years, just never really acted on it, researched it, or anything like that. So I got to thinking, did a little research, called a couple of agents, brokerages, things like that, just, you know, finding out what that avenue looks like
Sure.
starting out.
Sure.
Got a little information, spoke with my wife, we talked about it, and decided, okay, I'm going to do some online courses to get into real estate. And I'll throw this in as a side note. When it's been 30 something years since you've been in school and you start taking an online course for real estate, it's
Holy
more like
moly.
becoming an attorney than in real estate. That was rough, but
Right.
I managed through it. And here I am. I'm now a real estate agent. I
Wow.
decided that, you know, I can make a living somewhere else doing something else. It doesn't have to be, this hard back-breaking work, long hour. Well, don't get me wrong, real estate is long
That's
hours,
right. That's right.
but
That's
you get to
right.
make your long hours. You work 80 hours, but you decide which of those 80 hours you work,
That's right.
basically. So yeah, I got into real estate. I mean, that's pretty much what prompted me getting into real estate.
And that is simply, if we're going to make a change, and there's all kinds of reasons that we make changes. I left a job after 20 years. Actually, it was 19 years, 8 months, 3 weeks, and 6 hours. But I'm not counting. Yeah, not counting at all. I left that job because of my family and for my family. I'm going to admit this on camera, which I've never done before. It was the first decision I had made for my family. And I'm talking about, my wife and my 3 kids at the time. It's the first time I had really made a decision and putting them first. And I will tell you now, 25 years later, it was the very best decision I made in my lifetime. I just wish I'd made it earlier. When I
Mm-hmm.
got into this crazy business, and I've been a lender now in my 25th year. When I got into it, my boys were in late high school, which was too late. And I traveled. I was in the service industry as well, and I traveled all the time. And I applaud you for making a decision when he was a lot younger, because we can never get that time back.
No, you can't.
And I said this when we started, the why and the who we are as people is more important than the jobs that we have or the careers that we have and the legacy that we leave behind. To me, it's everything. Okay. And I'm lucky enough now that my second son works with me. So I get to go to work with one of my sons, every single day, which it's given me a new lease, because I was thinking maybe at 65, 66, I'll stop. But brother, if I can think and still, be quick on my feet and talk when I'm 70, I'm still going to be doing this because I like what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to shift gears a little bit here, because you're not just a realtor. Okay. You didn't just get in and try this and see if you like it. I mean, you're one of the rising stars in our industry. And I don't even know if you know this, the fact that we came after you, because I do my research. Of course, I had met you before,
Mm-hmm.
but your tracking numbers now is putting you in the top 4% of the country, not Chattanooga, not Tennessee, but of the country. Your buy side transactions in the last 12 months have propelled you to that, and you've only been doing it 3 years. So you got in a great time in our industry, but the last 12 months have been some of the roughest 12 months that we have seen. And you're expanding. You're building a team. You were with the company, so you just moved companies, and you are now the broker. Is that correct?
No, I'm not a broker.
Okay.
I left one brokerage and went to another,
Okay.
but I am a team owner
You're a team owner.
underneath the umbrella of that brokerage.
Okay. So you started a team,
Mm-hmm.
and you've partnered with and I'm correct. It's a lady out of California.
She's a great lady, excellent partner.
Nice. And how did you meet her?
Well, actually, she was a client of mine, believe it or not. I'll kind of back up a little bit and start out. I started out on a team, uh, fresh, fresh as an agent. Got a little knowledge of the company of the business, I should say, and went out on my own as a solo agent after I think it was about a year being with that team. Thought I was ready,
Right.
you know, and I did okay. I actually for Dalton in the Dalton market, I had got the top agent for my brokerage in sales. My first month as a solo agent, which was a real confidence booster for me.
Sure.
The
Sure.
things were going along, making money, but I wasn't making money consistently to where I had a weekly paycheck. Uh, so I thought maybe a team joining another team might be beneficial to me. Best move I ever made. I joined a team. And is it okay if I say her name on here?
Absolutely.
On her thing? I
Absolutely.
owe. Well, I need to back up one more time. I owe my real estate still being in real estate to my wife. My wife, because as you know, starting in real estate, you don't start out making money.
No,
You it's
not at
nothing.
all.
If you do, that's great. I mean, you're ahead of the game. But my wife, for the longest time, picked up the slack, and I commend her so much, and I thank her so much for that. Um, we've done everything as a team during our marriage, and I mean, she just stepped up to the plate and said, "Get your education, get your feet under you, start making some money. You know,
Fantastic.
we know what the future is going to hold down the road." So I just want to, and on air, I just want to say thank you to Melissa so much, my wife, for that.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
but when I left the team, became a solo agent, jumped back on a team, Adrienne Green um, I reached out to her and had a meeting with her, and she absolutely changed my life. I tell
Superwoman.
everybody that when it comes to out of state investing, Adrienne Green is the Walt Disney of out of state real estate investing. She's ahead of her time. And this lady just changed my life. She taught me so much. And while I was working for her, I met my now partner, Brenda Moz. She's a developer, a high-rise developer out in California, her and her husband. And they were looking for properties here in Chattanooga market. So
Of course.
I was put to work with her, and we had a pretty good rapport. Great, business worked good together. And when I parted ways with the team that I was on, which decided I want to go back out on my own, uh, you know, she approached me and said, "Hey, I have an idea," and she pitched the idea to me about becoming partners, and it put me right in the same. I don't know how to say this. I would be doing the same thing that I just left doing. The
Sure.
only difference is I would not be on a team working for a team leader. It would be my own team.
Right.
So we formed Morgan and Moss, and we're off and running.
Nice. Nice. So let me ask you this. Okay. So you've had some success. You're still building. You're still doing great. You came from a completely different industry, just like I did. Okay? My career path, my career change, 25 years ago was like this. I mean, it didn't parallel at all, and neither did yours. What's been your secret sauce? What is it that's making Mike Morgan? What's making you successful? What's made you different? If you think about the 3,000 agents that we have here in Chattanooga, what is making you different? What's making you stand out? What do you think? How do you think you're different?
My big why, I think, and I don't want to take away from anybody else's big why because their big why is 10 times more important to them than mine is to me.
Sure,
And that's everybody.
sure,
But my big why, and I guess my age, because like I said, I'm 53 now, getting ready to turn 54 actually this month. In my mind, it's never too late to change. But
mm,
in my
that
mind, it's too late. This is my last chance in life to actually, I don't want to say make something of myself, but be better than just normal. You know, that 9 to 5 job, you
Right.
retire at a certain age and you draw retirement and, everything's pretty good. You know, this is my last chance to really make it and really start something to leave behind for my son, and have for my family. But my big why, my son, that's the biggest thing. I am very goal oriented.
Hmm.
I care about what I do. Um, Another thing I would say, and this was goes back to the first team that I was on, Michael Williams here in Dalton. He taught me that being a real estate agent is not selling property and buying property for people. It's bringing value to customers and clients. It's
That's it.
being worth something to them. And I
That's
really
it.
took that lesson to heart that he taught me. And I'm just really trying to implement it.
You know, and I know Adrian. I know Adrian well. There's something about, and I have been blessed to have had 2 or 3 really strong mentors in my lifetime. In my mortgage lifetime, this last 25 years, I hired a coach, about 9 years ago, and I paid good money to have somebody kick my tail because I always want to get better. I always want to learn, doing a podcast. 12 years ago, I started with a radio show, turned it into a podcast because it's what we do. And it's one of those things where we're never too old and we have to be willing to change. But at the end of the day, Mike, it's about people. It's about taking care of people. Well, dude, you're truly blessed. You're going to be truly blessed. The legacy that you're leaving behind and what you've taught your son just by making this choice. No, my hat's off to you, brother. My hat's off to you. And thank you for being willing to come in and share that because you know what? You're a realtor. I'm a lender. And I like to tell people, yeah, I do FHA loans. I do conventional loans. I got low fees. I close on time. Who cares? That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Okay. But it's about people and about relationships and about we get to work in an industry where we help families buy the biggest investment that they have, and it's generational wealth. But I'm here to tell you, brother, okay? Because I've got grandkids. I got 3 grandkids that are older than your son. What's more important than any of that is the relationships and what we leave behind as men and as married people as far as our family. So I applaud you for that. And man, I can't wait to continue to see you rise above and kill it. What's the best way for somebody to find you, Mike?
Give me a call or email me. My email is mike@morgan-maz.com. Give you my phone number, 706-876-8899. I mainly work with out of state and local investors, but I also do primary residencies as well. I mean, you don't have to be an investor to give me a call. You don't have to
Fantastic.
you don't have to be actively looking for a property to give me a call. If you're just curious about the market and you have a question,
Nice.
questions are free. It
Nice.
doesn't cost
Good.
anything to ask a question.
Good. That's great advice right there. Great advice. Well, guys, again, I'm Kevin Blair with Element Home Loans. Our website is kevinblairteam.com. Our office number is 423-488-7571. If you call after hours, it rings over to my cell. If I don't pick it up, it rings to my partner's cell. So we answer our phone now. Mike, she takes my phone away during church on Sunday morning. So because she knows if I get a call, if I get a text, I want to answer it. So we can't do that. If you like this kind of information, hit like, hit subscribe, keep following our channel. If you've got some out of state people, if you've got some people that are interested in buying investment property or want to know, like Mike said, I want to know just about investment property, period. I like what he said. Questions are free. Mike, thank you again, brother. Man, I appreciate this. And, keep rocking it.
I
Keep
sure
rocking
will.
it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.